Okay, yeah, so I decided to go zombie. Now, I know what a lot of people are saying. Tekking, this is a major lifestyle choice. What do you think you're doing? I mean, what will your grandparents think, man? You're a zombie. Come on, guys, let's all put the bullshit aside for a second, and let's just come to terms with the fact that the zombie apocalypse is gonna happen within our generation, whether we like it or not. Whether it be, literal zombies, crawling out of the graves, or, the infected through some sort of super virus, or maybe all the internet trolls will somehow gain sentience and leave their collective houses and then invade the planet, and it just, bite people a lot. I don't know. Either way, I'm gonna be prepared for this. While you guys are all trying to stockpile supplies and not get your face chewed off, I'm gonna be in my house, probably just, reading manga, maybe still doing reviews if the internet's still a thing. So, I think it's just a change that we all have to get accustomed to. With that being the case, hey everybody, Zombie Tekking101 here to review Bleach chapter number 591, entitled 2. So we start off with a color page to commemorate Bleach's 13th consecutive year of serialization. Whoa, it's the year of Uketake, bitches! And there's two things I like most about this color page. Number one is that we finally get the color schemes for everybody that we haven't really known yet. Like, for example, Ichigo's color scheme, Rukia's new one, because she hasn't gotten a color page since she showed back up, as well as an idea like all the different Shinigami are there, and the text underneath of it kind of is odd depending on which translation you read. The Manga Panda one read that the 13 captains now enter a battle of demise, or now enter their final battle, as in referring to the 13 captains. Then we have the manga stream translation here, which is reading the 13 warriors now enter the battle. So I don't know if that's indicating like only the 13 warriors that are on this title page. Like, hold on, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, yeah, wait, no, that might be 14. I don't know, 13 or 14, whatever. The warriors that are on the cover page are going to be major players in the upcoming battle. Now, of course, we have Ichigo, Rukia, Kenpachi, Byakuya. Those people make sense. But if you squint hard enough and look all the way in the very back row, we see Shunsui, Ikaku, Yumachika, and then those last two people, I think the one on the far right, next to Chad's head, I think that's Shuhei, and the one to Ikaku's left, I think that's Iba? I'm not 100% sure. Now, Shuhei, yeah, he probably still has some fight left in him, but Iba being a major player in this arc, I mean, I'd like to finally know what his fucking Zanpakuto Shikai is called, but beyond that, I'm not really interested in them that much. But, whatever. And the second thing I like about the cover page is that it finally gives some, dignified entrance to Orihime's, character without, because with the last cover page we had with her, just featured her massive jubblies, like, out in the middle of the foreground for all to see. I mean, wow, let me tell you, if I still had blood flowing down there, it would be very apparent on my feelings for her right now. But enough about hypothetical erections. Let's move on to the chapter. We also get the color page on the chapter, which features the 4 revived Arrancars, Dordoni, Cheruchi, Lupi, and Charlotte, as Ikaku and Yumachika look on in absolute awe. Ikaku notices Lupi and realizes that he was one of the Arrancars, or I guess a Spada back then when Lupi was one. Yeah, remember Lupi wasn't a Spada? Isn't that kind of weird, just considering how easily he got bitch-seroed by Grimjow after he got his arm restored by Orihime, and this guy was in a Spada, and he was ranked 6. This guy was stronger than, freaking Sile and Zomori. I mean, Zomori and Sile's powers were nothing really to write home about. Sile was more, different abilities rather than just pure strength. He was more just about, his weird, magic powers, like the voodoo dolls. Zomori's was, decent. I think he just fought against... If Zomori fought against any other opponent except for Byakuya, they might have been in trouble, but Byakuya was just a bad opponent for him. But Lupi being number 6 with just his Trepidora, tentacle hentai release didn't really seem that threatening to me, but whatever. And then Yumachika stares at Charlotte Cohort, and you think he might have remembered him immediately, but no, he's just like, oh, now I remember. I've already killed him once before. And then thank you, Kubo, for showing us that flashback scene with Charlotte being completely naked from pretty much the entire body. So yeah, that's great that we remember that. Anyway, Charlotte also notices Yumachika at this time and states that, oh, I think I kind of remember that hot mess of a fashion nightmare over there. Yumachika, I forgot. Then he bursts out laughing because he just completely forgot Yumachika's name, because the running gag with Yumachika and Charlotte back in their fight was Charlotte doesn't remember the names of ugly people, and that was like a constant back and forth they had. Although, this panel, though, right here is just absolutely hilarious. I think it's a contender for the new troll face of the new generation. I mean, come on. Yeah, guys, this troll face, it's been around for a while, it's time and tested, we could put it in the internet hall of memes, but I think we need a new one, and I think Charlotte could fill that void. I think he really could. So they continue their little back and forth banter a little bit by Yumachika saying, "Oh, don't worry, I'll chop you up and fillet you once again." One of the very few times that in this entire arc, Yumachika's actually lost it. Once again, he's been seen mostly as the tactical one this entire time. Like, oh, okay, stay calm, Ikaku. Okay, this Stoner does this kind of ability, but now he just completely lost it because, yeah, pretty much like last chapter, I made that joke about Yumachika just killing himself because Charlotte's back. You know, that reaction not really far off from just sheer abject rage. Ikaku's actually the one that has to calm him down. And when Ikaku Madarame, the guy whose first name, Ikaku, literally means intimidation in Japanese, has to be your benefactor for, you know, calming your soul down. You know you got problems, dude. Just chill, Yumachika. It's okay. Anyway, Dordoni states that they don't have enough time to be talking about this banner. They have bigger fish to fry right now. Yes, bigger fish to fry. And I thought that meant like the zombies that, you know, Giselle resurrected, but no. That just means that Dordoni's staring on and he's looking for, where is the Niño? I came here because I was told that the orange-haired Niño was going to be here, referring to Ichigo. And Shiruchi was there just because that she was waiting for Uyu to arrive. So, yeah, you kind of just missed them, guys. Actually, if you showed up just a couple chapters earlier, you would have gotten to see them. You know, Ichigo's on his way to the Soul Palace, and Yuryu's already there, so you have a little bit of way ahead of you. I don't think you're going to see each other again. Ugh. What's wrong, Ichigo? Oh, nothing. It's just that, you know, I just have this sudden craving for Dawn paninis for some reason. You mean a panini? What did I say? You bring it on, you long-haired German bastard. I'm Quincy, take yours. Something wrong, Uryu? No, nothing. I just, that's weird feeling like someone's talking about me, that's all. But he's immediately interrupted by Luffy, who simply states that obviously they've all been revived, so you only have singular focus, you know, for your objective is to fight the enemy, which would be the Quincy's, or I guess the revived Shinigami. Now, here's the interesting thing. They all clearly have their personalities. I think that's what Kubo is trying to get across here in the beginning of this chapter, just to realize, yeah, all the Arrancars still have their original personalities. Really good question here for Mayuri. Why? Why the fuck do they need their original personalities? I mean, I'm sure Mayuri, demented, mad, Dr. Victor Frankenstein scientist, would be able to remove their personalities, or be able to suppress them to the point where they wouldn't come out in battle. Because, hey, Naruto got one thing right with the Ito Tensei thing, and that is removing personalities, to make them mindless puppets, to make them just attack and kill. Why? Because personalities get in the way of fighting, because you can bicker, and you can argue, and you can get distracted, but if you just get that taken away, and you're just like a single fit fighting machine, that's the whole thing. I mean, maybe Mayuri was just demented enough to be like, oh, I'll revive them with their consciousness just so they could realize what a fucked up situation they're in right now. Their reaction will be priceless. Somebody should really make a video regarding that. But that doesn't matter. The point you have to get across here is that Dordoni, Shiruchi, and Luffy are all arguing, to which Mayuri just pulls out a little, you know, switch out of his pocket or something, pulls the trigger, and then boom, they all get like electrical shocked behind him constantly. Now standing around and making small talk. Don't worry, it's alright though. Mayuri reveals he's not actually shoving a gigabolt up their undead corpse asses. They're actually just sending a massive amount of pain receptors into their brains, so just kind of deter them from, you know, talking like that, you know, like from small talk, to obey him. So his version of a shock collar, instead of just removing their personalities, is to send a massive amount of pain to their brains so they won't damage their physical bodies, although it looks like an electrical shock just from how much pain, I guess, is being inflicted onto them. But, you know, whatever. Dordoni states that, yeah, you know, this guy's just a mad scientist, crazy nut job wacko, to which Mayuri states, yeah, you know, it wasn't a huge complete waste of time that I stole from Silaporo's vault. I don't know why. I mean, I guess he just threw that in there just to, yeah, confirmation that's where the bodies came from, or the cells for in Luffy's case, because Luffy was fucking deader than a doornail. So the, you know, prevailing theory is that Silaporo, you know, maybe went around and collected the DNA of all the Espada and Arrancar just to experiment with off camera. Maybe not all of them. Let's not get into Ukiura territory here, although, you know, I'll have a whole discussion for that at the end of the video. But, you know, just to address the Ukiura thing right now, because that's what everybody jumped to immediately after seeing the zombies, is like, okay, Ukiura turned to dust, so he can't be coming back like Charlotte did because his physical body was destroyed. But, like I said, if Ciel has DNA from all the Espada, with Mayuri's, you know, amazing mad scientist skills, I'm sure he could revive, you know, take the DNA and make a clone, and, you know, like clones, you know, don't really work like that. Clones start off as babies, but I guess Mayuri, once again, he's, you know, maybe be able to accelerate the growth or just make them regular. I mean, Luffy is there. I mean, there has to be a reason Luffy's there. He was completely obliterated, so, you know, it had to happen somehow. I hope they explain that, okay? All the other three, I don't give a fuck. Luffy needs to be explained. But, you know, if that's the case, then Ukiura might be able to come back through the same process. But I think just from an author's perspective, from Kubo writing the story, and how he wrote off Ukiura, how he died. And Ukiura's death is one of the very few deaths in this series I actually felt closure for. Just the way that fight ended, and he, made his final, that this is what a heart is, and then he made, fade away into ash. I'm like, okay, that works for his character, and he had kind of a redemption at the last minute. Like, had Ukiura continued living, he might have changed his ways, but that's, it's too late, he's too far gone, he's dead. So, that's fine. But I don't think Kubo's gonna bring him back now, because that'll kind of cheapen the whole aspect of the death. The reason he brought back these lesser Arrancars, and that's not even saying these are all the Arrancars Mayuri brought back, we still have a shit ton from Fed Karakura, like all of Bargain's Fraxion, like freaking Avirama and Findor and Channing Po, and all the Thrace Bestia is still alive. Stark! I like Stark, but we don't know about Stark. But, he might bring back some of the lesser known Arrancars because we don't care about them. I mean, Dordoni was a cool character, but we really don't care about his backstory. It's not going to cheapen his death if he comes back as a zombie, because, it was so long ago, and we really don't care. He wasn't really a main character. So, that's my thoughts on Ukiura. Whatever. Moving on. So, Charlotte Kuhorn was the only Arrancar that wasn't interrupting, Mayuri, that wasn't, exchanging in small talk. So, he's just like, oh, it looks like this doesn't apply to me after all. Oh, yes, I am so hard right now. Oh, God, okay. Why did I revive this guy again? Okay, so we cut back over to Giselle, who has, very honestly been politely watching this display of just comedic routine going on. And she just states that, oh, I see. So in other words, we got zombies over here and zombies everywhere, right? And so what? My zombies are way better than your zombies. Yeah, you know what? I'm not considering the fact that, those zombies are, like, bickering constantly and these ones are just obeying their master like, I don't know, fucking zombies. Then, yeah, I'll go with Giselle having the better set, though. And I just had a funny idea. Wouldn't it be hilarious if in Naruto with the Edo Tensei, like when Orochimaru resurrected the first and second Hokage back in the, the Invasion of Konoha arc, instead of just using those tags in order to, obey, like suppress their personalities, he uses, like, an electric jutsu, like the same way that Mayuri did. The first Hokage pops out and he's like, what are we doing? And the second Hokage's like, oh, wherever generation, there's always war. Shut up and fight! Stop! Fight! Ugh. That'd be pretty funny. Just, I don't know. I was gonna show pictures, but, YouTube, Naruto, can't do that. Anyway, cut the chitter chatter. It's time for an all-out zombie-on-zombie brawl. Yeah, let's do this. There's no way we'll lose to any Shinigami. So they charge into battle while Ikkaku and Yumechika are in the sidelines just kind of complaining to Mayuri. He's like, hey, wait a second now. Most of these corpses that are moving around, or I guess they're not even really corpses, they're still alive when they return into zombies. How does that make sense? But anyway, yeah, they're complaining to Mayuri. He's like, hey, hold on. Most of these guys are from the 11th Division who got killed back in Chapter 580. So therefore, shouldn't we have a little bit of discrepancy about killing them like this? They're our own soldiers. Mayuri has a little bit of a monologue here stating that, what are you guys talking about? The idea to protect the Court of Pure Souls, that is not just the Gote's only, like, naive and idealistic. The Gote 13, started out as some kind of really honorable organization, like, just to protect the Seirete and all that's good for. But that's not really the case. In terms of Mayuri, the way he's describing it, it's obvious that the regimental soldiers, the people that are not captain class, the people that are not seated officers, the people that are the vanguard that go out to thin the herd, that's what their job is, to go and die on the front lines. And hey, that might sound a little bit fucked up, but hey, that's the way, organized military works. Even a couple hundred years ago, maybe not so much now, but yeah, a couple hundred years ago, what you would do when you were in a fight, you wouldn't send out your top-ranked soldiers and generals first. You'd send out a bunch of fucking fodder, just to kind of thin out the herd there. And then a better example would be chess. You don't throw out your king or knight right away. You have to, thin out the herd with the pawns first. So, hey, that's just how the world works. And Mayuri even brings up that, yeah, those were Yamamoto's very words. We get the title page, then we cut in the middle of the battle where Dodoni is mowing down a bunch of Shinigami. Basically, this breaks this one guy's neck with just a kick to his face. Careful to avoid the blood. Luffy brings up that he's been careful of not getting their blood on them for a while because, obviously when they get their blood on them, Giselle could fuck with them. However, Luffy simply states that when Ikkaku got the blood of Bambietta on him, nothing happened. As well as since their corpses already, Chiruchi brings up the idea of them getting, turned into zombies with the blood getting on them. That's probably not going to happen either way. I guess it has to be living unless you're Quincy, when you have to be dead. So it seems more intricate rules here than have to apply, but the basic sense is they don't have to worry about getting blood on them. Also, through Ikkaku, we understand that getting the blood of a zombie, it doesn't turn you into a zombie. It has to be Giselle's blood directly that affects you, if at all. Tsuruchi's probably the most handy at killing all these zombies, considering her Zanpakuto, Galoran Dorina, is like I like it in its sealed form more than its released form when she turns into that giant bird. Oh, by the way, we still don't know if they can do their released forms. I'm assuming they could. You know, if Bambietta's a zombie and can still pull off her Volt Stunning, then, you know, why wouldn't, Gordoni be able to use Gerlada or Lupi and, Trepadora? You know, I think they would be able to do it. Just not Charlotte. Not Charlotte. We don't need to see Rosa del Blanca or whatever the hell that thing was. But anyway, yeah. I love Tsuruchi's sword because it's like a massive death yo-yo, and it's so handy for mowing down a large group of people. So yeah, that's pretty neat. Meanwhile, we cut back over to Giselle, who is reattaching Bambietta's arm. She's like laying on the ground, completely scalded from the point-blank explosion from last chapter. And then we have Charlotte arriving in front of her. Are you my opponent? Not that luminescent body over there? No, Giselle. Sorry, you're a little bit late to the party. No, Mayuri Kuratsuchi never fights you one-on-one. Mayuri Kuratsuchi stands in the background and basically just generally mind-fucks you for about 3 or 4 chapters until you eventually fall down dead. Why? Because that is how awesome he is, and that is why he's my favorite captain. Rock on, Mayuri! Okay, maybe not rock on too hard. Okay, I'm a zombie and even, I'm a little creeped out by that. Anyway, Charlotte arrives on the battlefield and states that, yes, my instincts are telling me to fight you because you resemble me so very much. In what way now? Okay, I gotta address this really quick. Okay, so, chapter 588. 4 chapters ago, Yumachika confronts Giselle and just says, "You're really a boy, aren't you?" And then in the very next chapter, she has the "I'm still moist" thing, but she uses Boku for weird. So they're basically confirming she's a man. But everything has happened basically except her just coming out and saying she's a guy. So, is there a reason Kubo's not just confirming this with Giselle, and we had to have, like, secondary characters that come out and actually have to say, oh yeah, you're really a dude? I'm just thinking, like, maybe the way Giselle's gonna reveal it is not gonna be the typical way that we're expecting, where she's just gonna say, oh yeah, I'm a guy. I think it's going back to the assimilation thing, where this isn't even Giselle's true form, where he, used the power of the zombie to take a bunch of woman parts and staple them to his body, and then, maybe twist around just his body in general, like vocal cords can change his voice, and just attach all these parts to him. So I'm thinking like the real Giselle isn't even going to be like this. Like how Gremmy wasn't really Gremmy at all. He was just a brain in the jar. Maybe something similar to Giselle where, she sheds her skin and turns out to be some fucked up, zombie boy type deal. I don't know how it's going to go down, but it's going to be a big shock when we eventually find out. Anyway, so Giselle just orders Bambi to unleash a bunch of her explode bombs on Charlotte Kuhorn, which dodges them quite gracefully, which, we already revealed from Mayuri last chapter that the bombs always move at, like, a constant speed, and, I'm assuming he did augmentation to Charlotte, so what you're about to see with Charlotte and Bambietta's fight, this might confirm a little bit, like, maybe just the idea that just have enough speed is good enough to defeat Bambietta, because Komamura fought her, but Komamura's never really been good for using Shumpo. He's never been that fast of a character, but Ikaku was fast enough to kind of land hits on her. Mayuri was fast enough to avoid them, or he used the Pokeballs to, absorb it. But I think anybody with a good sense of speed, Shumpo Sonido would be able to avoid Bambietta quite handily, to which Charlotte does, grabs her, and bitch slaps her into a building. God damn it, do we have to start a freaking me getting bitch slapped count? Because this is getting ridiculous. We have a little side note from Mayuri there, because, Bambietta got thrown into the building, like, literally 2 inches away from Mayuri, and he's just like, you missed me. He's like, oh, I didn't try to hit you. My hand slipped, that's all. Bambietta strikes her killing face and emerges from the rubble once again in her Volt Standing, to which Charlotte just simply says, oh, you're still glowing? Well, I guess zombies won't die until they taste my super awesome, sexy, mega awesome, uber cooler, too cool for school, Zero! Which he cuts down immensely since the first time he used it against Yumachika. It's basically a normal Sero, except it's in the shape of a heart, so it has a much wider arc of range. Bambietta gets hit square on by that, and I guess that takes her out of the fight for good. I mean, considering the fact that Hollows are the antithesis of Quincy's, I assume a Sero hitting a Quincy would do a lot more damage than a Sero hitting a Shinigami. And, Sero, point-blank Sero, at any point can do a lot of damage, unless they're really weak, like Lilinette's was against Ukitake or something like that. But yeah, Charlotte's a fully realized Arrancar. He's pretty strong, so, Sero hitting Bambietta, who was already, basically fucked from 15 different angles, all the damage she took, I'm pretty sure that would be enough to take her out of the fight. So if anyone out there is thinking like, oh no, there's no way Charlotte Kuhlhorn will be able to take out Stern Ritter E Bambietta while she's in Volt Standing, think, like, this is the same thing that happened with freaking, Shinji when he fought against Grimmjow during the first invasion, the invasion when Lupi went to Karakura Town. It's like, Grimmjow fought against Ichigo when he went Holification, took like 3 Getsuga Tenshos right in the fucking face, and then Shinji Shinji shows up and kicks ass, and he's just like, whoa, Shinji's a badass. No, it's not really that Shinji's too much of a badass. It's more just like, you know, Grimmjow already had a lot of damage beforehand. Same thing here. So Bambietta gets knocked out of the fight, which I guess after the fact that Gazelle's, you know, watching all of her Shinigami zombies getting mowed down by the Arrancars, Bambietta's gone. I guess she finally realizes, oh, you can come out now, Commander. Dun, dun, dun. Zombie Toshiro done. He's gonna be a pain in my ass. Okay, so Zombie Toshiro. You know, it's hilarious. Toshiro's always been one of the most popular characters in the series. Not for me, not really. I never really felt like, oh yeah, Toshiro is like, such a great character. I mean, he's like average 5, 6. Like every time he's in a fight, like a Toshiro fight, I'm like, okay, whatever, that's pretty cool. But yeah, now that he's a zombie though, and the outfit he's wearing, I think it works on him, you know, and that little symbol there, it was the same symbol that Hashwalt used, you know, summon the light tunnel to go up to the Soul Palace, so it's like a symbol of honor, right? But I even said in that chapter, it resembles a snowflake, and you know, on Toshiro, it works out great. So, you know, he's standing there, you know, all blacked up, he's got the Zanpakuto here. Now, a couple of things I just want to reference. First off, Toshiro is a Shinigami just like all the other Shinigami that turn into zombies. Why are they regular skinned and why is Toshiro black skinned like, or more darker skinned like Bambietta is? Bambietta, the only thing that we know that's different is that she's a Quincy, but that doesn't apply since Toshiro's obviously not a Quincy, and that she got turned into a zombie after she died. All the other Shinigami got turned while they were still alive. So that would give credence to believe maybe Toshiro died. Now, before anyone jumps to this, let me just say one more thing. The last time we saw Toshiro, like, actually, when was the last time we saw Toshiro? We need to actually, okay, you know what, let's do a little movie presentation here. I actually don't remember. We'll do that. Let's just, yeah, okay, let's watch a movie, everybody. Okay, yeah, so, yeah, that's the last time we saw Toshiro after he, you know, took out Kangdu, so, I mean, he could be dead. I don't really care either way. I mean, maybe this is Kubo's, you know, sense of making up for his, like, okay, it's the last arc. I gotta start killing off these main characters. The whole Byakuya thing didn't work out. Let's try Toshiro. All right, so, and so as a rebuttal to that, then why is his skin dark and all the other ones aren't? You know, that's what I have to question. Only Bambietta and him have the dark skin, so yeah, there's that. Other than that, I don't really, like, you could throw in maybe like, oh, well, what about the hollow pill? Because wasn't he infected by the hollow pill? So how can the Quincy's mess with him? But, you know, maybe Gazelle's ability doesn't really need to worry about that. It doesn't matter if, you know, you have hollow powers in him, or maybe when he died, they went away. Plus, I also think that hollow in the side, like the pill, I think Urahara said, like, it'd only be a small amount for a small period of time. They'll have hollow powers, and then there was maybe that just glimmer to, like, infect Kangdu, and then after that, it went away. So, you know, regardless of the fact, Toshiro's here, Toshiro's a zombie, that's pretty cool, and maybe next chapter we'll get the Arrancars maybe trying to team up on it, because I can imagine the Arrancars taking out the Shinigami fodder quite easily, as well as, you know, Bambietta's now out of the fight, so maybe, like, all 4 of them teaming up to take on Toshiro. Meanwhile, we have Mayuri, who's kind of, like, on the sidelines, kind of just like, okay, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to watch out for, do this tactical thing. And maybe Nemu will do something too, because Nemu she wasn't even in this chapter. I'm like, what the hell do you do, Nemu? I mean, maybe knowing Mayuri, she might be off doing something on the battlefield to kind of, like, you know, hope, like, they like, make sure they win, you know, to prepare for something, but I don't know. Anyway, though, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. This will be Zombie Tekking101 saying,